Welcome to the Big Facts Show. This is Mark Waldo Ward. Please subscribe to us wherever you get your podcast from. We're available everywhere now. On this special episode, Bennie Hertz joins me and Laz. He's a music licensing and digital content expert, in addition to being one of the top producers in Alabama. He breaks down some of the things that young artists need to do to secure their royalties, how to get their ASCAP, how to get their music digitally licensed. There's a little bit of audio issues at the end. I apologize for that, but we fixed it as best as we could. So with no further ado, let's get right into the show. What up, world? This is a Big Facts Show. It's Mark Ward. I'm in here with St.Laz, and we got a special guest today, Bennie Hertz, who is kind enough to join us to talk to us about music licensing and walk us through some of the steps people need to do to get their music placed in video games, movies, you know, the next frontier of where a musician can make money off the music.
Absolutely.
I remember my man Laz showed me something the other day. Stop trying to sell your music to people who can get it for free. It's this content. It's these content that's purchasing it. So Mr. Hurst has been kind enough to join us, man. Thanks for joining us, man.
Man, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate y'all having me on.
So your beginning was you tried to run a label and it didn't work out with younger artists, and take it from there. Yeah,
man. So, you know, when I really got my foot into the game, I really wanted to have my own record label, and I had one. You know what I'm saying? Where, you know, all my paperwork was done, all that stuff. So on paper, I had a record label, funding artists, you know, production wise, trying to get them into certain situations. And due to some business and personal issues, things just were not working out between me and the artist. So I kind of got discouraged because I had spent all this money, had all this equipment, and I was getting ready to sell everything. And my wife was like, nah, don't do that just yet. I'm like, what? I was like, man, let me take a step back then. So I kind of took a step back and
shout out wifey.
Yeah. Wifey, you know, she's a jewel for real. So, as time went on, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I was sitting up watching TV, bored as hell, and flipping through, I like to call them the Ratchet television shows. You know, I'm watching like Housewives of Atlanta or Black Ink Crew or something crazy was online, right?
The traffic accident shit you can't turn away once that remote hit them.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, and I'm listening to, and instead of just watching the show, I'm now really listening. And for a 30-minute, hour-long show, there's nothing but beats being played throughout the entire show.
Yeah, true.
You know what I'm saying? Nothing but beats. And I was like, this sounds like my shit. This sounds like the type of shit I do, right?
You had this emoji going on.
Yeah, and I was like, somebody getting a check. Somebody getting a check. So after that, you know, I reached out to Google. I went on Google and started, you know, tapping away, looking for how to get your music into television shows. And I came across a program. It was like $140.
Computer program?
No, not a computer program. It was a learning program where someone was selling a course.
Okay.
And they sold a course. And inside that course, they broke down music licensing A to Z, you know, the terminology, all these type of things, right? And inside of it came a directory with tons of music licensing agencies, music libraries, music publishers, music supervisors, all these companies, right? And I got on. I'm thinking my music tight, you know what I'm saying? So I'm cold calling, you know, and typing in, hey, my name is Bennie Hertz. I'm a music producer out of Alabama. I'd like to know if you guys accept submissions for your company. Got a lot of turn downs, but then a few people started hitting me back. Hey, send me some stuff. Hey, this stuff is dope. Do you got any more? I'm like, shoot, I got a whole hard drive full of stuff.
Right.
And that's kind of where it started. And then in about 4 months, I got my first placement on TV.
Persistence overcomes resistance every time.
Yeah. But it was a learning process, you know, and the more I learned, you know, I was able to structure things better and really get an idea of how how to make music that works for television.
What was the mechanics of the first sale? Like, so one of these agencies you contact shopped your song to a television show and they agreed to buy it? Did you register it in a pool and a television pool show selected it?
Basically, that's the way it is, right? So you kind of hit the nail on the head. So what typically happens, the way most people first get started, like I did, I submitted my music to a company that runs they're a placement company, but they have their own music library.
And I assume you have to pay for this service.
No, I did not. It was free.
Okay.
You know, and I'm sure people, if you've heard about music licensing, there's companies like Taxi and all these other companies that you have to pay for to submit and get into their ecosystem of the way they do things. I never went that route.
I used Taxi, not to interrupt, I'm sorry, but I used Taxi for a couple of years and I didn't get anything out of it. And you got to keep paying to submit songs 100 times, and it's like, I don't know, but it didn't work out.
Did you break even?
Say that again now?
No, I'm asking Laz on Taxi. Did you even break even?
Not at all.
Nah, most people don't.
Damn.
And so my first cues went to a music library, and I sent them like 20. And they was like, okay. And I had to learn how to format my music, my instrumentals for television. There are certain requirements that I had to learn. And the licensing company was very open. They taught me a lot because I was like, hey, they were like, hey, this is dope, but it needs to be this long. I need it in this format. And once I did that, I revised the tracks, resent them, and they put them in their pool and they started submitting. And I guess what they do is they actually may have a hard drive. They know a company is coming out and they have a relationship with the production company. And with that production company, they'll send them, say they may send them 1,000 tracks, right?
Okay.
Because they're gonna shoot 8 to 10 episodes of Black Ink Crew. So they're gonna start taking the production that's on this hard drive and start placing it in the appropriate places inside of their library, inside of the television shows for so many episodes.
And you got placements on Black Ink Crew, right?
Yeah.
And so is your name in the credits at the end when it be going on fast?
I don't know if I've never looked there, but I am on IMDb as a creator for Black Ink Crew.
Well, what other shows have you gotten stuff placed on?
I've done Black Ink Crew Chicago. I've done Housewives. I've done there was this show that MTV had that was called Bigger Thinking. I did the main intro for that, and that was a different check, so that was pretty cool. I've done stuff.
The check said MTV on it?
No, it's from the publishing company, whoever the publishing company.
I'd like to get a check that just said MTV in that upper left hand corner.
I know, right? I would frame that motherfucker if I did. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. I did a movie. I did 3 tracks for a movie that was overseas. I don't remember the name of the movie. The company just sent them over and they said, "Hey, you got these placements," and I was like, "Okay, cool." And we ended up doing a deal where they paid me up front for the 3 tracks for the usage. And then 2 cues for ESPN. The reality TV shows. I mean, I've got several placements in those. I mean, there's just so many to name. I mean, there's a Spanish show that I did with this he's a major Spanish star. He has his own reality TV show. I've done stuff for his show. So it's a lot.
My bad. You said when what gave you the idea was you noticed how many cues were in an episode. So like, let's say for instance, Black Ink Crew, how many cues have you gotten placed in like a half hour?
In one show, I may have had 4.
And so is that 4 separate royalty checks?
Yes. Well,
is that
on the same show? If it's on the same show, it's going to come on the same check.
But for 4 different.
For 4 different cues, yes.
And that's in perpetuity as long as, like, when it gets sold to streamers, you still get those residuals and everything?
Yep. Yeah, I sure do.
And that afforded you the ability to now begin relaunching another record label, huh?
Well, that and, just, I still sell beats and all that other type of stuff too. So, I like to say sometimes you got to stay down till you come up. You know what I mean?
Do you help your rappers get licensing?
Sometimes that can be difficult.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how is it different for a rapper to get their music licensed as opposed to a producer?
So I'm working on some licensing stuff now, but I will tell you, I have worked with a female rapper I think she stays in the Carolinas, and she's had 2 of our songs placed on some recent stuff for BET. And she also got our stuff licensed by TikTok. So TikTok sent us a check, and they were pretty decent. And they were pretty decent. And they actually, TikTok has their own music library where people can go in and use the cues. And so
she used a pool as well, one of those pools like you were talking about.
And I don't know how she did it. I didn't ask, but it's kind of like in the music production game, like you got the cheat code. The cheat code is collabs. You know what I'm saying? When you're first starting out, collaborating with someone that may have another end that you don't have. And that was one of the things. She bought tracks from me. We split the writer's share and the publishing, and she started submitting stuff for opportunities. And she was like, "Hey, Benny, I need to send you some money." And I'm like, "For real?" She's like, "Yeah, I need you to tap in here." So, because I had to sign the agreement also because I own my master share and my publishing share of the song, so that TikTok will license it.
And you have to have these like BMI or ASCAP papers to even submit the music into the licensing pool?
Absolutely. Yeah, your music has to be registered.
What's up, Laz? You got any questions?
Probably got 400 songs on it.
I'm just listening and learning, man. I I licensed a few songs a long time ago, man, and most of them was through a producer. You understand what I'm saying? Like a producer who they needed a rapper, and we hit the nail on the head, and they bought it. You feel what I'm saying? But
that's the way it happened.
Yeah, a couple of times I placed it just from an inside connect. Somebody gave me a number to whoever was the music director of a certain show on a certain network or whatever, and I submitted stuff and got stuff placed, but. It's definitely the producers that really get it in. It's them instrumentals. They always need instrumentals to score everything.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it may be a 15-second spot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then sometimes it may be a minute and a half spot, depending on, what the scene is or what they're using it for.
But what about the video games? Like, there's a lot of video games that have raps in them by people I never heard.
So you know what? I've never landed a video game placement, but I have a partner of mine who has. He actually lives in northern Alabama, and he was on Grand Theft Auto, and I believe they broke him off like 5 racks for his placement. And I was like, that's a nice check. And I know that, and there's companies that cater to those type of things. And like I say, that wasn't the route that I went, but like I said, I had the book that I bought that had all of these companies. And now my homegirl that ended up doing the licensing with TikTok, she started her own licensing company. So she sent me a brief the other day, but the deadline was so short to submit the stuff. That's another thing, too. Sometimes you have to be able to work on a deadline. If you don't have a catalog built up, then you may have to work on a deadline to fulfill something that they may have an immediate need for. So she had one that was supposed to be for a video game. It was for a rap song, and it needed to fit this format. And the all-in for it was like 20 bands. And I was like, man, I wish I had known about this like maybe 10 hours earlier, because I'd have cooked up something. Hell, if I, I'd have brought in a writer or something or sent it out to somebody. You know what I mean? I'd say, hey, I need a hot verse on this by 3 o'clock, and I'd have mixed and submitted it. It doesn't mean I would have got it, but sometimes you got to throw enough stuff against the wall in order to make something stick. So that's why it's good to constantly produce, constantly have a catalog. If you're writing to get placements, if you're in hip hop or if you're a singer songwriter or whatever, you kind of got to understand the underlying themes that most companies look for. If you look, especially when you're looking at television shows and cues, if you look for stuff,
what are those themes?
A lot of those themes are overcoming, being a winner,
the redemption arc.
Yeah, that redemption type song. A lot of female empowerment songs do really, really well. And you got to remember, a lot of the industry, as far as who watches television, are females, so they want things that appeal to a lot of women a lot of times.
Does it ever get cliche to you?
It can. It can. But me not being the songwriter, I guess that part makes it a little easier for me. But you have people that love to write that type of music. They love to write another "I'm a Survivor." You know what I mean? Or they, another "Man in the Mirror." You know what I mean?
When you're viewing films and television, do you ever get annoyed by the cues or notice that it's like poorly done and it offends your sense of craftsmanship?
I've seen some that I'm just like, man, that's some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, now as I've gotten into it, I can really understand more why this was placed. Do you understand?
What's a show that's on right now that sounds particularly good to you?
I don't watch a lot of TV, but I'll tell you, Blackish uses a lot of stuff that is pretty dope. There's of course you watch the stuff that 50 did with Power and with Ghost. A lot of the music in there is really dope. I've heard people talk about P Valley. I've never watched it.
Yeah, I need to watch that too. It's getting that buzz.
Yeah, I've heard it. There's a lot of stuff on BET. They have a lot of new television shows that are on BET, and my homegirl's been lighting them up. I'm talking about like the show All American. That was actually a dope show. I did watch that. They had some good music in there, and she landed a couple of placements in there. And I think one of the ones that I produced for her is in one for the next season.
What are some of the pratfalls artists face getting their music licensed, and what are the most common mistakes you see?
Improper song structure. You're writing, you got to remember, it's kind of like a lot of rappers, to be honest, they write for themselves. You want to be boisterous, or you want to be, you flexing. And nowadays, you got rappers that they don't even write. They just come into the booth and freestyle. They have no sense of direction with what they're writing. They just want to make something that sounds good. That sounds like what's on radio. What's on radio doesn't necessarily win on television.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Because you're writing for something very specific. Right. Sometimes they will take stuff that is a popular record and throw it in there. But the reason why they go to independent artists is because it may cost a television production company $30,000 to license a Big Crit song, when they can get it from me for $1,500. You follow me?
It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah, and you definitely got to build that relationship. Once you start sending in good music, a lot of times they'll say, "Hey, I got stuff for this. I got stuff for this. I got stuff for this. You got anything?" And they'll give them, and they might say, "Hey, so I've got the whole Viacom playbook, and I know the type of music that they're looking for per each season. The different shows that are looking for more hip hop cues, stuff that's looking for EDM cues, stuff that's looking for Americana singer-songwriter with, acoustic." And certain shows, if you watch certain shows, you'll notice that most shows have a certain vibe to them. And you watch an episode or two, you'll see the type of music that's being placed. So
song structure is solely limited to getting in tune with the episode. It's not any different like format as far as like you only want 6-bar verses or you want more bridges or nothing of that nature?
Sometimes, but sometimes the cues sometimes can be very bland, and sometimes they can be very specific. They may say, "Hey, we want a very sparse intro with a big hook and a melodic bridge." They may tell you something like that.
Gotcha.
With instrumentals, they will tell you how to structure a song, because a lot of people don't understand. They look for stuff that's called like sting endings. A sting ending is different than a fade out. A fade out, when you listen to an album, it fades out at the end. Or you listen to a song on the radio, it fades out at the end. They don't want those for television. They want something that has a defined ending. And for it to have a defined ending, it's normally on a crash or on an 808 boom or whatever. That defines the end of the song, because they are putting these into a time slot on the reel. So they need to make sure that it's time based. It may have a reverse symbol at the end. They call those sting endings. Damn. They may want you to write what's called a bumper. A bumper may be something that's used for a transition to where it's, and I give you an example. It may be a da 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 boom, and that's a transition from maybe one scene to another scene. So sometimes this is one way that I ended up getting a lot of placements. I would take one track, one instrumental, and I would make a sting ending. I'd make a bumper. I'd make one that was no drums at all, or minimal drums, no 808s or anything like that, mostly kicks. And I'd take something that just had the lead instrument and everything. So I'd have 4 versions of the same instrumental. And that way they could use it for different types of things. It helped me get more placements.
They had all the options right there, huh, man?
Exactly.
Hey, you said it's about building relationships, man. I like building relationships. You be brokering verse sales?
Say that one more time.
I like building relationships too. You help broker reverse sales. I heard you said something about getting a better price on a big crit.
Oh no, I was saying instead of, if they wanted to license a record from Big Crit, say that in their head when they're making this show, they were like, oh, this Big Crit record would work really well, but it's going to cost them $30,000. To get a big
independent artist is a lot cheaper for independent artists, and they get the same exact effect.
Exactly. So they'll get someone like me to produce a record and a rapper I know, and they'll give us $1,500 to write a very similar song to what that Big Crit record might be. You know, and I'll tell you, it's so crazy. There's so much money in this, right? So I do a lot of networking. I used to, pre-COVID, I used to go to a lot of conferences. So I went to a CD Baby conference. I used to do some distribution with CD Baby. And this one placement company happened to be one of the speakers. So I've been trying to submit to these people for like 6 months, and my music was getting turned down. And her story was, in the conference, she talked about a placement that they ended up getting for someone that was $100,000 placement, and they got to split that with the company. But so for this commercial ad, it was an ad for a commercial. It was 100 bands, over 100 bands. They said the writer got $50,000 for the record, and then the company got $50,000 for the record. And I'm like, wow! And it was for a Lowe's commercial, bro. It was for a Lowe's.
Wow, commercial. Jesus.
You know what I'm saying? And the reason why the budget was so high, this Lowe's commercial was running the week of the Super Bowl. So that's another thing too. Like when your ads are running, these companies have bigger budgets because they've got to pay. They're going to be running prime time versus running at 2:00 in the morning, or if you're doing a McDonald's ad, it may be for a say the McRib is coming out. They're running a special ad for the McRib, so now your cue is going to be played when they're doing the McRib. But say that ad is running during, they're trying to get that ad placed because they got a big push during the holiday season. They're probably going to have a bigger budget because there's more companies competing for the ad space. So the budget has to be bigger in order to land.
So do you ever make something ridiculous and be like, man, I ain't submitting this for the McRib. I'm holding this for Super Bowl.
Well, I've worked on that, and like I said, artists are funny because sometimes artists, because they haven't made any money that way, they have dreams of being this big time artist like Drake or whoever, right?
The real money is in television and film, definitely.
Yeah,
chasing that rap money, but the real money is in TV and movies, man.
Yeah, and there's so many. It's easier to get in. I mean, and not to say that saturation of a market isn't good, because if it's saturated, that means there's some money there. But there's less people competing for ads. I know a girl that made $5,000 off a shampoo commercial, bro. She did a little pop record for a Prel or whatever the damn shampoo is, and got 5 bands for the damn shampoo commercial.
That's crazy.
One record.
It's selling. My bad. Go ahead, Les.
But I was saying, like, I got paid. I think it was $4,000 cash. I mean, like, a check, $4,000, and then ASCAP paid me another couple of thousand or few thousand for Showtime using my song for like 12 seconds in a series that they did. They used the song for like 12 seconds. It faded in and it faded out, like on a climax scene with Serena Williams. It was like her acting debut on something she did with Showtime. And I couldn't believe they cut a check for, $4,000.
That's better than show money, bro. I'm telling you.
It sure is. But it's like, that was by chance because somebody plugged me in, and Questlove from The Roots was the one picking the songs. He happened to hear my song and picked it. But, I always feel like if I get my music heard, it will get picked. But you got to have that connect to get up in there. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Or study and learn the business like you did.
So him specifically, what would you say would be the next best move?
Man, I'm gonna tell you,
because he's got like literally well over 1,000 song discography. What would be the best way to get submitted to licensing the biggest force multiplier, the most cost effective, all that type good stuff?
Man, tap in with music supervisors, tap in with music library, start submitting your stuff. Some of them may want exclusives. A lot of times I've done unexclusive work, so that way I can take my stuff to multiple publishing companies.
How do you tap in with them? You just, like you said, get the book and look them up and cold call.
Man, in fact, I'm gonna get on my computer right now. I don't know
if any companies. Is it any of those companies that you could pay that they really, really get the job done?
Well, here's the thing. All of these companies got relationships with the same people. You know what I'm saying? So what I ended up doing, I was getting in with the companies, but as I started going to these conferences, I started meeting the actual music supervisors. The supervisors are the ones that place the record or play.
Where were those conferences? You was traveling. How far you had to travel to get to them?
I was going to Atlanta. I went to one in Chicago. That's where me and Tony actually met face to face. We met in Chicago. Well, we had actually met before then, but I met him and I met Wendy there. Let's see here. I've been to some in Atlanta. I've been to some in Nashville. A lot of people.
How can you tell them shits? Because some of them shits be them janky shits trying to trick motherfuckers though, like them coast to coast conferences and shit. You
got to look at like reputable companies. You know what I'm saying? Like this was CD Baby. Online.
Okay, I got you.
CD Baby. A3C conference. They have people that do music supervisors that come through there.
See, even the CD Baby one though, like it looks like a hustle the way they be advertising online and the way they be like repeatedly emailing you for it. Like a couple. I've been to AC3, but like in South by Southwest, but a couple of them, like the CD Baby, turned it off. Like the way they was going so hard at me, it was like some Nigerian Prince scam shit or something.
Nah, the CD Baby was lit. They had some really good information there.
I'm sure. Like I'm just saying, it's hard to discern.
Yeah, and I think that's when you gotta, if you've been in and you start getting into these circles, like you reach out and all of a sudden my boy Tony links us up, right?
Right.
That's our dog, right? Once you're in the circles and you start asking the right questions to the right people will let you know this is a waste of your time. This is a good one to go to. I spent my money on this. It wasn't shit. I fuck with them, and then you might say, hey, I don't fuck with them. They got some good shit, but I don't fuck with them because of another reason. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of stuff. There's also another thing that's in Atlanta. It's called NARA. And I'm a member. National... Shit, I have to look at it.
Yo, Mark,
National Association of Recording Industry Professionals.
I don't know if that was the audio audio. I can't. It's very low now. I don't know if
Can you
it's
hear
from
me?
this person trying to call me on video call or something going on over there.
Oh no, you sound pretty clear to me.
I'm still good.
Like, it's just low, man. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
Well, everybody sound good to me, and everybody sound good to me. I'm the one. The recording's coming from my John, so
Yeah. So I'm a member of a group called NARA. They're the National Association of Record Industry Professionals. They do like they have some paid submission stuff, but they have stuff
NARA.
like every NARA. They're in Atlanta, and they have offices in Atlanta. They have some in LA. I think they do some in New York, and they've been doing a lot of stuff online lately where they'll bring music supervisors in, and you can submit your music right there.
And what you just walk in there? I mean, you schedule a meeting and all that.
They typically have like events. They have different events. They may have a meet and greet. They may have what they call them pitch sessions. And so you may pay a certain amount of dollars to go into a pitch session. I've never used them. I know Tony's been there because I think he did one for Little Donald.
Okay.
One of my other partners from Alabama went there, and his artist got picked up, got something placed, and I think they got like I think they made like 2 bands, 3 bands, something like that. But now they got a relationship with that company, and now they're submitting more music.
Man, it'd be so leery to spend money on them things though, because it'd be all them things that'd be tricks, them showcases, and I mean, you know what I mean though, man, about them.
Sure. I mean, I've run through it. I tried to run a label and tried to get my artists in certain situations, and you learn what's fucked up and what ain't. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even big on showcases for real. I got partners that run them, and I might take one of my people through there just so they can practice performing in front of an audience. I don't care about winning anything. I've taken people there because of, okay, so you need to perform in front of some people. You need to get your performance skills up. So I don't have a facility for you to go in and do dry runs. So let me pay for you to perform in front of some people. You know what I'm saying? So I look at it that way instead of saying, I'm going to try to win something. If you're going to try to win something, that's not a bad mentality to have, but you can set yourself up for a lot of disappointment if you're going in there for those reasons. Sometimes you got to look at the reason why you're going and saying, hey, as an artist, I need to perform. I need to work on my mic skills. I need to work on my stage presence, all these different types of things. That's what people should be using those type of venues for. And that's my personal thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with showcases, but you got to make sure you're going for whatever your reasoning is. If you're going to try to win some money and you get janked, then hey, you kind of went there on the feeling that, oh, I got scammed or I did this, and I'm just like, bruh, it's 2020. You know what I'm saying? We going into 2021. You got to figure something.
But AC3 is definitely reputable, right?
Oh, A3C is the shit. But you got to make sure. So you can go to A3C, and then you'll start seeing showcases using the A3C brand saying, oh, this is an A3C showcase, and it's not an A3C sponsored showcase. They're just doing a showcase during A3C weekend or during A3C week because there's so many people out there.
Like South by Southwest, yeah.
Everybody does it, bro. It ain't nothing new.
Yeah.
So, that's why I'm just like, you just gotta be smart about this shit. You know what I'm saying? Everybody trying to make a dollar legit or hustling somebody or whatever,
Got you. Laz, you got any more questions, brother?
Nah, man, I'm just listening and learning, man. I appreciate all of that information. It's very valuable.
And I'll shoot you something, man. After you get out, just shoot me your email. You guys may have sent it to me in the I've got my old directory. I'll send it to you. I mean, it ain't no big deal.
Bet, man. I appreciate any help, and like I said, thank you for joining the show. We appreciate having you, and hopefully once we can digest and understand this, we can have you again and ask you some more questions.
For sure, man. Anytime. Man, and like I said, big ups to the Big Facts Music Licensing. You know what I'm saying? It's an honor to be on here. I know you guys are working hard, bringing a lot of info to everybody, these independent artists that's out there trying to, figure out a different way to make money, and there's just so many different ways, you know what I'm saying? So this is just another revenue stream to add to your pockets.
Yes, sir, man. That's definitely the right note to end it on. Man, thank you very much, and y'all have a good night.
You too.
All right, my brother.
And as always, you know, we got to finish the show with a song from Laz. So here go one of my personal favorites.
Say, big bro, I'm just trying to eat, man. I'm just trying to increase my revenue stream. You know what I'm talking about? All the money. Uzi beats in the motherfucking house, man. Getting all the money. Check me out, though. Stealing. If I wasn't rapping, I'd be Wiz Khalifa's weed man. Find Kid Cudi, leave Kentucky and move to Cleveland. I can mail it to Houston, get it Devin the dude, then put on whoever the dude is that sell it to Snoop. Tell Ricky Rose he could call me direct. Nice to meet you, homie. I'm your new Molly Connect. Juicy J, Gucci Mane, YMCMB. Promethazine on deck, nigga lean on me. Yeah, name the label up there, ENT. Jetpack shouted, get your blow like TNT. And if you're into tripping balls, got some DMT. Whatever you need, there's a pill for that. GNC. No vitamins though, just some Vicodins. Scripts on the monthly, Eminem will love me. A waiter for these junkies, I cater to the zombies. Fiending for the cheese, I go crazier than Monty. My AV's looking chunky, you craving them tea leaves. My kratom looking swampy. And any concert I wanna see, niggas comp me. 8-ball told me still to get all your money. Got the wife and the kids, gotta pay the bills. Gotta eat, gotta live, gotta handle bills. Hard at work, hard at play, y'all know what it is. All my life I've been poor, it's time to get rich. Yeah, we getting all the money. And this time round, dawg, we getting all the money. Every penny and every dollar, we getting all the money. Turning nothing down but my collar, we getting all the money. Yeah, we getting all the money. We getting all the money. We getting all the money. We getting all the money.
Shit, right now, I'm enrolled in a flight school. Gotta get that white through. Like you, I need all that money and a Playboy bunny. I'm a yay boy dummy all day on summy. Flip these, nigga, I just be where your bitch be. Brain game strictly. 6'3" on the ab. Shit, I be all about the bag. 6 pouring out the mag. Y'all whores on the rag. Stash stress feds. It's drastic bread. Put a slab on your head and have you dead. Dread wig hanging, who the slut complaining? It's not just raining, it's a storm, come on. Yeah, no chaser, they call me the eraser. It's a race for the paper, marathon player, yeah. We hustle, the lamb is truffle. All the money, fuck you, I claps a couple, Laz.
Got the wife and the kids, gotta pay the bills. Gotta eat, gotta live, gotta handle bills. Hard at work, hard at play, y'all know what it is. All my life I've been poor, it's time to get rich. Yeah, we getting all the money. And this time round, dawg, we getting all the money. Every penny and every dollar, we getting all the money. Turning nothing down but my collar, we getting all the money. Yeah, we getting all the money. We getting all the money. We getting all the money. We getting all the money.